So this documentary is called Bike Beyond, and it is connected with Beyond Type One. Beyond Type One is Nick Jonas's nonprofit. I am one of the council members on board that nonprofit, and this past summer, on June 1st, 20 amateur cyclists started in New York City, and they rode 4,200 miles across the country to San Francisco. About 10 weeks later, it took them about 70 days, and they had never done this before. Apparently, this has never been done before to take 20 amateurs who all have type 1 diabetes. And our job was to document the trip, the people that they met along the way, the ups and downs. It was definitely a roller coaster. And this is premiering on World Diabetes Day, which is November 14th, out at the Landmark Theater in Los Angeles. And then it's going to do about a 5 city tour in the United States. It's doing a 12 city tour in Canada, and then after that, it will end up on Netflix and HBO.
Have you experienced laser illuminated projection before today?
No, this is my first time, and being around large auditoriums, being around big venue projectors and things like that, I'm very familiar with lamp projectors and how often you have to buy new lamps, the maintenance of those, and then the wear and tear on the gear. So from a cost side of it, yes, but then seeing this setup and the lasers was it was a first for me. It was kind of eye opening.
Tell me what you thought about the quality of the image.
When you sit down and edit a film, you know the footage very well. You color grade it, hoping that the projectors that it's shown on can do it justice, and that's absolutely what we saw today. Just seeing it on the screen, exactly the way that we hoped that it would be. It was very reassuring to see it at that quality level.
As you watched your film in the PTI demo theater today, what stood out most in the projection demonstration you observed?
There's a lot of balance on the color. When you get in there, you're thinking about contrast and exposure and white balance and all of that. And hopefully, in the color grading, you've done your job. But to see the saturation where it was, and then the contrast ratio just seemed to be spot on. So sometimes you sacrifice one to get the other, and I didn't see that today. I saw both.
How do you see the relationship between projection technology and storytelling?
So uh, those two can almost be at a war with each other because you work so hard on a project and then you have to hand over your baby to somebody who's going to put it on display. And sometimes the people that are putting it on display didn't have anything to do with the actual content creation. And that relationship has to be good because you are handing over what you think is going to look a certain way, and it's ultimately at the end of the day, it's up to whoever is projecting this on how good it really looks. You could have color graded all you want, but if it's not on the right gear, if it's not done by the right person, then it's going to look very different than what you thought.
If there were no limits as a filmmaker, what would you invent in regards to projection technology to help you tell your story or reach your audience better?
Um, if there was a way to equalize or standardize everything, it's so tricky to go into one theater and you know that the projection is going to be, you know, if you were talking percentages, it's going to be 80% of what it could be, but then you go to another projector and that is going to be shown at 90% of what it could be. If you could standardize all of that so that you know that when it leaves your production house that it's going to be seen the way that you wanted it to be shown, hands down that would be the way I would do it. That's what I would focus on.
Sounds like a prescription for laser illuminated projection. What final thoughts would you like to share regarding cinema, storytelling, technology, or places they intersect?
Well, uh, this being a documentary, it is very tricky because story was in their hands. It wasn't in mine. We were just there to capture that along the way. But even down to today, it's all about relationships and it's about people. The stories that we captured along the way were about real people that are dealing with a very real disease. And here it is the day before the premiere in Los Angeles. And if it weren't for relationships, we wouldn't be here sitting in this room being able to test this on a projector with laser technology in it. So it all comes back down to the people that you know. It's more important who you do it with than how you do it or what you do it with. But if you are with the right people and you trust those relationships, they'll guide you the right way, and that's what stands out to me. It's all about people.